Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. Today I'm going to tell you why it's not patriotic to pay taxes. So friends, I'm out here and I'm taking stock of my garden, and I'm pretty livid about paying taxes this year. I'm not generally thrilled about it, but this year was pretty nasty. I paid $2,200 in fees for not purchasing a product, namely healthcare or the Obamacare exchange. That wasn't going to help me in the first place, so I got penalized for that. Trump's supposed to do away, or I think it's supposed to go away next year, but that's not going to eliminate my self-employment tax, which I paid. It's not going to eliminate the taxes that I've paid for essentially working, producing wealth. I don't get to keep any of my money. How is this supposed to be patriotic, to steal the labor of people? Right about now is when people say, oh, okay, there are two things you can't escape in life, death and taxes. Well, I'm so glad our founding fathers didn't think that way, because they thought, well, death may be inevitable, but unrighteous taxation is not inevitable. It's something worth fighting about. And so they did. After a long series of offenses and grievances that were committed against them, they tried through all peaceful means to redress them. And then ultimately, when the British came to confiscate their powder and their firearms, they fought back. But I'm standing in this field right now. Taxation of income is an abomination. And it's something that's new in this country. Okay, our founding fathers definitely did not approve of that. The taxation that we see now in income tax was instituted around about the time of the Federal Reserve in 1913, if I got this right. It penalizes workers. It penalizes people who get out every day, like you and me, and work. And do you know who it steals our money? Well, you know they steal it from you, but do you know who they redistribute that money to? People who despise us. People who want to take more of our money and more of our rights, make us less free. And when I wrote that check this year, that's all I could think of, man. It was everything that I could do to hold myself back from writing in the memo section, thank you for crushing the American dream. A country that up until 1913 didn't have an income tax. We had other ways that we met our budgetary needs. And oh, by the way, we didn't have social programs back then. Social programs that incentivized laziness. My generation, guys, like the edge of Generation X, we're not going to see Social Security. I'm paying into something that was foisted upon my grandparents. Well, I guess you could say that my grandparents allowed, and everybody else in that generation allowed for it to go through. But when does this stop? When does this stop? Our founding fathers knew when it stopped, and it only stopped when they put force behind it. And folks, before they even put force behind it, they started boycotting things. They ceased compliance. And you know what? I'm getting to the point where next year I may not pay taxes. Oh, they're going to do this, that, and the other. Whatever. I'm tired of living a life that makes me a slave, serving people who hate and despise me, who don't recognize that I'm a human being with rights that were gifted to me by God, just like you. That's who our tax dollars are going to. I'm over it, man. Over it. In the field, walking around with the sweat of my brow. I lined all this stuff out. I know where all my stuff's supposed to be. Planted it. And those people have a mentality that they are owed my labor, that they're owed the fruit that comes out of my garden. Not me. That they're owed it. And that I should be happy, and that I should feel patriotic about allowing them to come into my property, whether it's a wallet or a garden, and steal whatever it is that they deem appropriate. I'm livid, man. I'm livid. I'm so livid I can hardly talk. But folks, tax day. It's Patriot Nurse's tax day message, man. It's unjust. It's ungodly. And at this point, it's going to support infanticide. It's going to support things that are heinous. I don't know how this stops unless we stop complying. That's what I got for you guys. If you enjoy the video, I hope you'll subscribe. If you got some maybe camaraderie or reinforcement out of it, man. Like, I know I'm not the only one thinking this, because I get the letters and the emails of people who say the same thing. It's weird. It's a bizarre time right now. Everybody that I know is facing spiritual opposition like crazy. Just a lot of wickedness in the world. But I guess part of the benefit of having the online presence that we do is that we know that we're not alone. Eventually, we're going to have to stand up to this. This can't keep continuing. This can't keep continuing. We are feeding a government that is growing ever bolder in rights grabs, ever more insatiable for our money. This isn't going to get fixed with a stroke of a pen on Capitol Hill. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, you can do that. I also have cryptocurrency links in the description box below, guys. Happy tax day. Happy tax day.